Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new cooking recipe video. This is both a mother and grandmother recipe that I've made slight little adjustments to. I changed it up just slightly to improve upon it. I've done this recipe a couple times now. We will be using a 8¼ pound Smithfield pork shoulder butt roast, and a couple months ago I did the exact same recipe, all the same ingredients and process, but I used it was like a 7 pound beef tri-tip roast that I got from Costco. So you can use it for other forms of roast, not just a pork butt shoulder roast. So let's get into it. So I already got about 6 cups of water in a big crock pot. It's an 8.27 pound pork shoulder butt roast from Smithfield, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. Drop the meat in there. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and turn it on. We're going to do it high for I do at least 2.5 to 3 hours before adding all the additional vegetables and stuff. So we will add some stuff to it right away. The first things that we're going to add to it, I'm going to go ahead and add this onion. I'm just going to tear off the little sliced pieces. You can use as much as you want to. Adding a little bit to it, but not everything all at once. You can if you want to. It's completely up to you. Make sure you wash your hands before you do all this as well. Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to add is pepper and seasoning salt. So add a good amount of it. Okay. I use Johnson seasoning salt. Add a good amount of this as well. Add Worcestershire sauce, probably about 1/5 of this little bottle here. There's about 1/5 left, so I'm just going to add all of it, but spread it around. Okay. Add some premium roast beef base, better than bouillon. Either probably I'd say 2 of the cubes if you get the cube versions. This is like the jelly version. So I would add at least a teaspoon, possibly up to 2. Probably do a teaspoon on each end. Add some minced garlic, between 1 to 2 1/4 teaspoons worth. Probably gotta do 2, 1 on each side. Okay. Then I'm going to add. Last time I did like 3 or 4 rosemary stems. This is one of my specialty things that I've added, and last time it was pretty potent of rosemary. I liked it, but my mom I guess doesn't like it, so I'm going to add 2 this time, 1 on each side. Last time I did either 3 or 4. It was a little too potent. think that's everything, other than I'm going to add a little bit more pepper. I'm going to go ahead and seal it up. Now I'm going to leave it alone for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. Leave it alone. Other than maybe possibly flipping the pork roast, turning it from the side that it's on to the other side, and then after 2.5 to 3 hours, then the next thing I'd be doing is I'm going to be adding chopped up potatoes that I already have ready to go. They're mini potatoes, like 2 different types of mini potatoes, already chopped up into quarter slices. And then we're going to add Bathhouse Farms baby carrots. And I don't normally do this, but this time around I'm going to. And we're going to do some sliced up portabella mushrooms. We're going to add to it as well. Then let it sit for another 2.5 to 3 hours, so between 5 to 6 hours total. And then it should be ready to serve up on a plate. And the one other little thing that my mom likes to do is when it comes to the potatoes and the carrots and everything, put all that on a plate. You get a masher, you mash them all up, add some pepper, and add a little bit of butter on top. So that is beef butt shoulder roast recipe. And so we're just going to wait 2.5 to 3 hours before doing the next portion, which is add mushrooms, carrots, and chopped up baby potatoes. And then another 2.5 to 3 hours, and it will be ready to go. And add more salt and pepper and stuff. All right, so we have gotten to the 3-hour mark, and I've gone ahead and flipped the pork roast. And so now it's time to add a few of the vegetable ingredients as much as we can. Because it's 8.25 pound pork roast, there's not a whole lot of room to put like all of the vegetables I have, so we just put a little bit of each in there and then let it cook for many more hours longer before getting ready to serve it up. And so add a little bit of each of carrots, potatoes, and of mushrooms. And then let it sit for multiple more hours. Added a bunch of potato pieces. Now we're going to add a bunch of carrots, baby carrots. Those cook in it. Portobello mushrooms, which I've never actually added to a pot roast before, so this is going to be a little different. Hopefully it gives it just a little extra flavor. And be able to possibly fit more, of course. If we need to, we can move and shift the pot roast more if need be. And now add a bit more pepper and seasoning salt, and then put the lid back on and at least let it cook for at least probably an additional 3 hours, and it should be good to go. It'd be good to serve up. And let it sit for another 3 hours at least, and then it should be ready to serve up, to dish up and eat. Okay. Okay, so we're in the final stages. It's been cooking for about a total of 8 hours, mostly on high for about 6 of those hours, and then I turned it down to low, and I just turned it down to warm. So it's been cooking. Should be very, very tender. It's boiling a little bit right now, so it's pretty much fully ready to go. It smells absolutely amazing. Do a little close up on it in the pot. 1 second. So as you can see, so it looks amazing and it smells amazing. Let's go ahead and dish it up, and then we'll go over a few little tidbits. Oh yeah, it is so freaking tender and soft. So cut off a good piece. I barely had to cut that. It's almost like fall off the bone, and this is a bone-in ribeye, so it's just cooking for like 8-9 hours, something like that. So it's that meat looks so freaking tender. Doesn't that look amazing? So smells incredible. And then of course grab a spoon with like a drainage kind of thing to scoop up a bunch of the potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, onion, put it on the plate. Get a little bit more carrots. And then what my mom loves to do, you don't have to do this, a little extra something, is that take a masher, and you pretty much would smash all the potatoes and the carrots together, almost making your own like mashed potatoes kind of a thing, but a mixture with other vegetables. The normal thing is just potatoes and carrots, and that's it. This time we added onions and mushrooms, portabella mushrooms. And then what would we do? You put sour cream on it, add a little extra pepper, and put butter on it. So a little bit of butter there to melt. And then add a little extra pepper. You could add sour cream if you want to. And then your meal is pretty much ready to go. So that is our recipe. Now the one other thing that I would do is, before I only put so much carrots, potatoes, chopped up potatoes, mushrooms, and onions in there, because the pork roast took up the majority of the capacity of what this Crockpot could handle. It took up most of the space. So now once you start cutting up the pork roast, and so there's more room now, I would go ahead to be ready for the next iteration, because this is going to last multiple meals for a couple different people, is since there's more room now, I go ahead and start throwing in more of the remainder carrots and potatoes and mushrooms and or onion and all that. So that way for the next meal, all that's already done up and cooked up, softened, because now I can fit more in there. More than I could before. So I just put it on low, or warm, actually the lowest setting. Let that cook for multiple more hours. Eventually shut it off, and then turn it back on like an hour or two before you're ready to start cooking again. So the only other thing that I would add, for certain people like to do this, I'm one of them, is a little bit of ranch dressing off to the side on the plate to dip your pork shoulder roast, and to include one other thing, that a lot of people don't know this. We learned this at a Brazilian grill when it comes to pork specifically. So any kind of pork, whether it be bacon or whatever, if you take either limes or lime juice and you pour it on the pork roast, anything that is pork, the citrus from limes, I think lemons can work as well, but I know definitely for limes. We learned this at a Brazilian grill in Portland, Oregon. And you put a little bit of lime juice on any kind of pork product, let it sit for about a minute or two, and it will actually enhance and pull out the saltiness of the pork. So don't need a lot, just a little. And now my pork roast meal is fully ready to go. So there you are. And that's all I have for this video. I hope you, if you try out this recipe, like I said, it's not just for a pork roast. It can also be for a beef tri-tip roast as well. So hope you like it. You don't have to add the onion. You don't have to add the mushrooms. That was a little extra. You know, normally it's just potatoes and carrots as well. So, I mean, if you want to add other things like celery or whatever, you know, that's completely up to you. Maybe green onions or something. So just other ideas. But I hope you enjoy this recipe. All right, take care and have a good day. Hit like and subscribe.